in your area.
Now this time Carol-Gianotti not given the choice. Carolyn Dorin making the choice and choosing to let Carol start off in the same lane she started last match.
And a lane breakdown for Carol-Gianotti. Appears they're playing pretty even, or she has them figured out.
Sure looks that way from here, striking the first.
She bowled exceptionally well today. A lot of players struggled, including myself, in the final 8 games of match play. Different format that we used this week, daytime format. We actually bowled 2 rounds of 9 games in qualifying. Then once we got into the top 24, we bowled 8 in the morning, 8 in the afternoon, with only an hour break in between, and then came back this morning and bowled 8. So these players could be feeling a little fatigued.
It should be pointed out, Leala, that your average of 212 is right up there in the top 5-10 athletes in the tournament. Striking the first for Carolyn Dorin.
Carolyn Dorin has a very basic game. She takes 5 steps. Her 3rd step, however, is extremely small. This is her power step right here. Then she gets into a long 4th step and her long slide in the 5th. Her goal is to be very consistent. Dating professional bowler Del Ballard, now engaged, recently bought a home in North Richland Hills, Texas.
Just outside of Fort Worth. In fact, it's been 6 weeks since the 2 lovebirds have even seen each other. A lot of road trips in store for these athletes in the months ahead. 2 strikes in a row for Doran, and Gianotti now has to rally, answering the challenge. Almost even in match play is...
She said this is the most matches she has won in a long time as well.
Beautiful.
She said, I've made a lot of cuts, but my problem has been matches. She says, I just don't understand how come she can't win them. And I asked her, well, if you find out the secret, let me know. My match play record was 8 this week.
Pass it along. Interestingly, Carol-Gianotti, with that upper forearm injury last year, is still bowling with a 15-pound ball, a pound lighter than most of the pros on this tour. And she makes it a triple.
And Gary Beck, the AMF tournament consultant, did a great job in promoting this event. Wonderful crowds here all week for daytime format especially, and again this evening.
Wonder if he carries batteries for that sweater.
I like that sweater.
I think so too. And look at this, a flawless game so far. 6 strikes, 3 apiece.
Good guess. You heard her say good guess. Carolyn Dorin's career television average has been 222. She's only made the television show 7 times, but she gets very aggressive on the show.
Should be pointed out with so many strikes going on here that Sam's Town, the umbrella sponsor, has offered an incentive prize, a $50,000 award for their first woman on the tour to bowl a perfect game on the television. Who knows? It could happen today. We had 1 perfect game this week, bowled by one of the amateurs.
That's right, a very good local player here.
Diggity dog. 4 in a row for Doran.
And Carol-Gianotti having her work cut out for her now.
It's about this point one wonders who's going to blink first. 280, the high score for Gianotti in the week.
Low game, only 171. Pretty good. Just crushes the rack again on lane 20.
Wouldn't it be funny if they both went off the sheet, but because Carol-Gianotti started off,
right?
It
Who
would cost her.
That?
Well, Doran would. She'd finish first. She'd be the first to do it.
I think Sam's Town would have to put up another 50 grand for that one.
She's got 4 perfect games to her credit. Oh, I'm so sorry. It stops with a 410 left over here in the 5th frame.
This is what happens when you pull the ball inside of target, turn it a little early. Now the players are playing the tight line, playing a bit of the hold, but this one gets inside of target, doesn't make it out to the right far enough, cuts right through the nose.
And going for count leaves an opening here in the 5th frame.
Carolyn bowled great all week, match play. She qualified 9th, moved on into the top 5 after the first round of match play, and never looked back.
Doran has won 2 titles in her 5 years on the tour. Last one, the first stop of the '94 season in Columbia, Tennessee. Did that in the middle of an ice storm.
And one being a doubles title with partner Lisa Wagner.
And we're halfway through this game. 5 strikes in a row for Doran. Look at her eyes wide open there. Just started wearing those glasses in October of last year.
Hear her talking to herself. Come on.
In her first match last week, she threw 6 in a row to start off playing. 24-pin lead, all on the basis of that 5th frame.
Swishes the 5. I like to watch her facial expressions.
Very free with her emotions. At what point is this like the 7th inning of a no-hitter? At what point do the bowlers stop focusing on the particular game and begin thinking about the overall impact of a perfect game?
Well, I think all in all, at this point, she just has to focus one shot at a time, and that's what every player tries to do, is not even think about the impact or the 50,000 that might be at the end, because, you know, she still has a long way to go, and it's just one shot at a time.
And Gianotti, all but one frame has been perfect for her this game.
Carolyn Dorin's past 3 television appearances, she has been able to capture the first match that she has bowled in, but she has lost the second match.
Interesting in the position round. Carolyn Dorin was so unhappy with her performance, she refused to sign the card. She wanted her opponent to sign for her because she just didn't want to have anything to do with that game. Oh, so close. But a round of applause from this crowd here in Overland-Park.
Well, the key is, John, she trusted it. And you'll see Carolyn constantly playing with her thumb patch. She does wear a patch to prevent it from cracking open or breaking open, and she constantly pushes the edges of the patches down when she walks back.
How much of that is a nervous habit versus functional?
I would say a lot of it.
Just a little nervous thing. But as she spares out in the 7th frame, enjoying a 23-pin lead.
Really, after she won her first singles title in the winter tour last year, her confidence just got that much better, and she has just been a whole different player since last year. She has been so consistent in making the top 24, making match play, and now making television shows. Hit it.
She hits them all here in the 8th frame. We'll take a short break. When we come back, the end of match number 2 as Carol-Gianotti and Carolyn Dorin are fighting it out in this round. Lanes in Overland-Park, Kansas. John Neighbor and Leila Wagner. We're watching the end of the 2nd round of stepladder finals here just outside of Kansas City as she takes her 8th frame shot, and she leaves one.
Players playing what we would refer to as a track shot, playing anywhere from the 2nd arrow into about the 4th arrow. And when we refer to track, that's the area where most players, full amateur players, they will actually wear down the wood in the lane right in that area, and it actually becomes a track shot. And different bowling centers have that characteristic. That's where you need to play the lanes.
Spare in the 8th. Now we enter the foundation frame. Gianotti, a 24-pin deficit. Carolyn Dorin, perfect throughout except for the 7th frame where she left the 4-pin.
Still a chance for Carol, though. She can shoot 245.
Not with that split in the foundation frame.
That's right, not now. That pretty much wrapped it up for Carol-Gianotti.
I think a 232 might be the best she can do.
No, that's if she picks it up. Yeah. But now it's a 221.
So Doran up again.
Carolyn just needing pin count now in the 9th and 10th frames. Was the 1989 Collegiate Most Valuable Player. She bowled for West Texas State University with her sister Kathy and Tammy Turner, our Rookie of the Year.
Well, she leaves a 10-pin in the 9th. Carolyn Dorin at West Texas State, majoring in communications, radio, and television. She might have my job in a couple of years. But frankly, she's doing too well on the tour to think about it at this point in time.
Really a student of the game as well. She practices roughly 125 games a week when she's off the tour. She's bowling all the time with fiancé Del Ballard. When she's not on this tour, she's on that tour.
Coming up a little later in the evening is ESPN's Sports Center. It'll be at 2 a.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. on the West Coast. People at the desk with all the news in the world of sports, something worth sticking up for. Carolyn Dorin, 2 spares and the rest have been strikes. What a beautiful performance she's had in this match. Carol-Gianotti defeating Kim Kennedy in the first match, 253 to 203. Might have wished she could have saved some of those pins for this match. Oh, and the 7 bounces, but does not fall down.
Definitely keeping up with her 222 television average. Now, actually, she's raising it here with this game. Now, for her, the obstacle is to overcome the fact that she usually wins one and then loses one.
Let's see if she will seesaw in the next match. She advances to meet Gina Nacarado from Tacoma, Washington, waiting in the wings. Bowling off the sheet, here she comes, her final shot in the 10th.
For those of you that did see the show last week, you happen to see Carolyn and her sister Kathy singing happy birthday to their father.
That's right. George, the father, is not only our sponsor, also a very special part of that emotional support team. As she gets spare to strike in the 10th, 248, her final score. And Gianotti, with a 4th place finish, takes home $3,300 and change. Leaves the 4-pin. And Gianotti picks up the spare in the 10th. When we come back, we'll have her final score as Carolyn Dorin has now earned the right to advance. Coming up, the rest of the top 24 finishers.